Punk, Striker, and Mathmech all hold on for dear life as Sprite begins to take over the format. Don't make 30% of you guys have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can climb up the 100K ladder here. And as usual, if you guys have any info for regionals, please feel free to send over things to me on social media so we can continue to build these breakdowns for everybody. We have the Knoxville regional breakdown for you guys, and wow, you know, this looks like a very interesting tale with 4 Sprite decks, by the way, grabbing hold of Top Cut here and shaking it up and going, this is our time. Surprisingly enough, Punk ended up being the one that won this regional, taking down first place in one of the most dominating top cuts that I've seen in a hot second here. I actually find that it's kind of interesting to see like the diverse shifts here in terms of numbers and things. While, you know, you're looking at Punk and you're like, wow, this deck is, you know, borderline crazy insanity. You know, the other decks are creeping around this thing, you know, dodging bullets here in some of the coolest fashion. We also had one Sky Striker deck in Top Cut. Now, let's be honest here. You've seen Sky Striker Innovations. You've seen Mystic Mind do its thing if this ends up being a, you know, a Mystic Mind variant. But overall, for like the way that this is all shaped up, not surprised to see that. Now, what I'm continuing to enjoy here has been Mathmech. Holy crap, man. Mathmech has just continued to be one of the most recurrable themes out of these regional weekends, where Circular just bends the format to its will and goes, you know what, we're going to do some crazy stuff here. And I actually think that it's quite awesome that we can get a chance to see that. And then, still holding on for dear format here, is good old Despia. Overall, for the Knoxville regional breakdown, this is pretty much, once again, the story that we've continued to see throughout time here, where you continue to see this basic representation hold through. We're going to pass on over to deck lists now. All right, the first list we have here is your first place finish with, you guys remember this, right? You guys remember good old Sangan normal summon is full combo? And of course, you have the Brave combo. You shouldn't be surprised to see this. Now, the cool thing about this Punk list here, in terms of like just the good old synchro toolbox good stuff, there's no field spell in here. We're not potted greeting. This is just, we basically took a snapshot of the previous iteration of this deck and said, you know what? We're good to go. I also like the fact that we're playing Mistaken Arrest down here. And I put kinetic cards from their deck to the hand except by drawing them. And we still have a token collector beating down here. I think it's funny to still see that like these decks from last format are still keeping up. By last format, literally pre-Power of the Elements release. So good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. It once again goes to prove the validity of the power of the 60-card Synchro Toolbox out here. Next up is Sprite. That is the Nimble Angler and friend. Yeah, Nimble Angler. And then we got the Nimble Beavers. Huh, okay. Now, of course, we actually are playing a nice little adventure package in here as well. I know a lot of people were originally looking at like the adventure stuff with this deck, and I hadn't seen a lot of people have success with it till this regional. It was really talked about by a lot of people, but once again, I just never really saw a lot of results with it. So to finally see that we have a list to put with this feels really good. And yes, that is Nightmare Corruptor Ibley. Why would you not want to play a free Monster Reborn that you can hand to your opponent and go, you better link out with that. If not, you're going to have a bad time. So, free real estate, chicken tendies out here, as we like to say it. Also, Evenleys, you know, Dark Rulers. More of the stylistic staples of the format, still maintaining the overall course here. So, once again, I guess you really love to see it, ladies and gentlemen. Third place here. Another Sprite deck. Man, there is just so much Sprite out here. And, you know, I'm not really surprised to see it. But once again, we got another adventure package here. This one, we got the little swappies built into the thing here. We don't have the Nimbler package in here. And then, of course, 45 cards, which I think you can get away with 45. I don't think you're going to have a big issue with that. Hand Trap lineup is way more extended here. No DD Crows in here, actually. I do see that we are playing the Ghost Bells for this particular variant, which is fine. Hello? Playing a Red Resonator here. Okay, and then of course we got an Artifact Scythe with some good stuff here. You know, sanctuming your opponent feels really, really good. All right, in the overall grand scheme of things. So this is going to feel really, really powerful at the end of the day. But you really do love to see it. Once again, good adventure stuff. Oh, Sky Striker. Whoo-wee. Hi, Mystic Mine. I missed you so much. More things for the format to complain about. But this build's doing some interesting things here. That is Griffin Rider in the side deck. No. We're just illegal knighting our opponent here. Because if your opponent starts to get too crazy out here, you can just take care of whatever your opponent has via quick effect here, and just pass it on over to your opponent. Hey, well, under Mystic Mine, that's technically one more monster that they would have to initially deal with. And then, of course, we continue to see offerings to the doomed in Sky Striker. This card feels really, really good right now, man. Like, who knew that a quick play spot removal option on a spell card would end up being really, really good? I mean, I've seen this in Marincess right now. Have been two very, very good cards that are two very good decks that have been seeing play with this. So, overall, not too bad. Next up here, another sprite list. Now, this is going to be a little bit more reminiscent of like Ethan Shorten's list here, where you saw initially, the Dark Beckoning Beast with the opening of the Spirit Gates here as kind of like a cheaper alternative to Deep Sea Divas, because the Dark Beckoning Beast, search for this on activation, search for another copy, and then the Dark Beckoning Beast gives you the additional normal summon for a 0/0 monster, so it just gets to beam itself on out, and congratulations, your entire deck is Link 2s, and you are officially good to go. Alright, so that's basically what you got to deal with in terms of this. I also see here we're on triple Crossroad Designator with triple Dark Ruler No More. So you have the board breaking and you have the anti-hand traps built in. You also don't really need to worry about Nibiru with this build. I know a few people were looking at Crossroad Designator in some of these more recent builds and going, you need to be playing Nibiru in order to kind of counteract things. Not really. I don't think you really need that per se. So overall, good stuff. 6th place Math Mech. Boy. So one equation, double superfactorial. I think out of every single Math Mech list that we have seen so far on this channel, these have been the ratios. There hasn't been much of a change. Interesting things here, I guess. We have the Gammas with the driver, which is fine. And then, guess who's back? Nightmare Corruptor Iblis. Well, the thing with this deck is she is in fact a Cyverse monster, which means you get all of the extra value that you would out of her, and then you just get to go ahead and have her be an extender for you, just on the normal summon, go ahead and revive something. So, okay, free chicken tendies, ladies and gentlemen. I love the fact that you can just pass this over to your opponent, as long as they're not playing what's it called, Turbo, the very unfun new deck. Thank you, Sprite. Handing them a level 2 that they can do something with feels a little bit bad, but you know what? If you look at every other matchup, it's good. Next up here is more Sprite. Wow, we're playing Gamma Burst. All level 2, rank 2, and link 2s. Currently on the field, gain 1400 attack and defense. Well, they're going to get big. And during your main phase, you can banish card from graveyard. Target a level, rank, or link 2 monster you control. Gains 1400 attack to the end of your opponent's next turn. We go to get our opponent. That's the entire purpose of this, it feels like. You just load down this super big, huge creature here, and you just tear through your opponent. Very interesting choice. Also, shout out to Artifact Scythe here. Still getting the chance to see Modern Era play. It is very interesting to me, though, just how much of this is stuck around. Also, IIP and Avermax. This was very early discussed by a lot of players that they wanted to do this. And it is very good to see, for the most part here, that it has maintained some sort of play here. Once again, that is all of your Sprite decks for this regional. And then we have Fright. Nah, just kidding. This is good old Despia here. Triple Uber with the 1 ab. That's all normal. 2 Fallen of Albaz. I see that we've reduced on that number. Dark Ruler No More for board breaking. And then, of course, just 1 McCourier on a 44 card deck. And, of course, Garuda being the new best amazing card that this deck has, man. Garuda was definitely something that needed to be made for the current format, because there are a lot of problems that fusion decks really needed to see. I feel like this was their attempt at saying, hey, we want fusion decks to hold on for dear life. So that is your Knoxville regional breakdown. Hoo-wee. please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.